This is my first YouTube video. Oh, so I did see it. The first thing I'll tell you is we've all been watching, or a lot of us have, all the different clips and things on here. Um, am I supposed to look at myself or look up there? I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to look up there. Okay, sorry. No, we've seen lots of different clips of the movie, and I was like, oh, this is the trouble clip. This is the hayride clip. And, I'm watching the movie expecting it to be that. And it's not. Like, they took little clips of that and put it together. And there were sections in there that we have not seen. So those segments, like when he was at Brentwood, I forget things. When he did the show there, and the hayride, those were like really elaborate, very interesting. It moved very quickly. There's a lot of stuff, very fast-paced movie. The beginning was the only place where there was a lot of like time changes. Maybe in the first, half hour of the movie, 20 minutes of the movie, and then everything else kind of followed along the way. So half the movie was Tom Hanks and Austin Butler, and it was kind of separated between both of them. Not really one had more of a play than the other. So that was like half of the movie. The other half of the movie is segues. I mean, there were so many scene changes, so many. There was such a huge time frame that needed to be encompassed. And it was very innovative how they edited it to go from one place where something took place to another spot. And they did a little bit of music history, like the history of blues, who Elvis was affiliated with in his early days, when he traveled, when he was, on the hayride, when he met Colonel Parker. I mean, there were lots of things, a little bit of the relationship with him and his mother, Graceland. I mean, there was so many things in it. So the first half was probably, his early years. The second half, it got a little bit slower near the end, near the Vegas years. And I gotta say, Austin, his acting was really good. And we saw clips, there were certain clips I posted where I was like, oh, I don't know, Austin looks weird, or he's talking weird, or he's holding his hand funny. There was something near the Hollywood sign. I posted that clip, and he just kind of looked funny. Those were like the only odd things in the movie. Surprisingly, he was so effective in that movie. He didn't look like Elvis, in the face. There were some scenes where he resembled him, but the voice and the mannerisms, and there was some fancy editing going on. Because I know when I've watched a lot of Elvis performances, and there was about probably 5 performances from Austin, or 5 of Elvis's, songs throughout the years. And they put that all in the movie. And it was most of the song. And I was like, so how are we going to watch some guy who isn't Elvis perform something for that long, a whole song? Well, it's called fancy editing. And there were lots of other things going on in those scenes where he only edited the parts that he wanted you to see on the performance. So you never felt like there was someone up there trying to be Elvis who wasn't Elvis. It was like a way to be deceptive, to leading you in to believe his character was Elvis without him actually being Elvis, and without really him looking a lot like it on the features. His voice really got me. There were some heavy scenes where he had a temper. They were very good. He was very good. Like I said, there was a lot to the movie. I might even have to break this up, and make another video after. I don't want to give anything away. I gotta say, near the end, I cried at different parts, pretty much throughout the whole thing. Near the end, for about maybe a minute, 2 minutes, they put the real Elvis up, and they put some of his, some black and whites, I don't know if they, not clips of performances, some photographs, videos. And then when he spoke at the Boys, I see I'm bad at like articulating. When he talked about his dreams and they all came true, and he used to read comic books as a boy, and they actually showed the real Elvis speaking, saying that near the end, and they showed, like I said, some clips. When you see the real Elvis on the screen, as I get sentimental, he was so beautiful. I mean, you can watch the film and think of Elvis and be like, oh, you know, this is great, this is out, I'm learning stuff, you know, this is great, he's doing this movie, Austin's good. When you see the actual Elvis on the big screen, oh my God, it's just like, wow. So I really wish they'd release some more Elvis stuff out there. He really was something special. So, and then I saw two old ladies near the end. They were the only other people in there behind us. I ran into them when I left, and they had seen him in the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, well, they had the walkers and the canes, and they loved the movie. They did, you know, and they said there'll never be another Elvis. So you should see the movie. Get ready. It's fast. It's fast. There's a lot of switching. Sure, if you want everything exact, it's not going to be. It's to tell a story to get people drawn into Elvis, you know, but it was, I thought that they did a really good job. And the music is so good. The music, because I was apprehensive about modern music. They didn't use any rap or hip hop. How they were going to incorporate that. They did some the strangest types of segues and meshing of music with these visuals. Like I said, the way that they did the cinematography and the editing clips, it was so innovative. It was so, the movie actually almost pulsed. There was that much movement from scene to scene and things in a scene, and the way that they set the shots up. You know, there was a scene where there was the Colonel and Austin on the piano in his early days, and they did like, it was very short, and they had the camera set up on one part and then another part, and just where they placed that on the screen and the light, like I said, it was just absolute brilliance how they moved this story. It was not like a typical movie. I can't think of another movie that I've seen, maybe some of Boz's films, I don't remember, music videos that moved in this way. And there were some early critiques I'd heard about the movie, and people didn't really like it, and I was a little concerned. I read all of them, like when it first came out on Rotten Tomatoes. I think there were like 12 reviews. But, you know, thinking about it, if you know the Elvis story, you couldn't have spent too much time on Priscilla. I mean, she was there. Different characters. You don't want to spend too much time on it. You need there to be the primary character, Elvis, and the Colonel's a good Elvis, a good character to like frame the two with a story where it's not just all Elvis and who Elvis was intertwined with. You really got to develop the story between two characters and their story together. And the Colonel didn't overwhelm the film either. But where was I going with this? So you've got 20 years, quite a life. I would have loved to see the 3-hour edit of this. How do you do that in one movie? The only way you can do that in one movie is the way that Boz did that movie. And there were things, if you don't know the Elvis story, you might not have liked the movie as much. You might have been a little confused. I didn't find it confusing because I knew the story. But it had to be edited in a certain way to get everything in condensed. And it had to be clipped and formatted in a certain way as he did it to get it to flow. So it was interesting. I might have to see it again because, like I said, there was a lot going on. I will tell you, he does a lot of this. I think they use models, actually, models of like Las Vegas and other areas. They use miniature models, and they do, it's almost like sweeping drone work, and then they edit it, you know, with the computer and stuff and make it look realistic. I'm not articulating. I only slept a few hours, so here I am. I need more coffee. But they did a lot of that to go from Vegas to somewhere else. Like I said, the way that they edited clip to clip was very interesting. There was stuff, you know, with his locations in like retro font when he was touring on the Louisiana. It wasn't the Louisiana. He only went to one Louisiana hayride. It was one place, but it was those sets of dates that he did. And they had, you know, the stuff on the screen, flashing on the screen. There was even a part that they did as a comic book, as a segue. Like I said, it was very creative. If you're not creative and you don't know anything about the Elvis story, you're going to go and you're probably going to be a little confused. So, where was I going? Yes, like I said, I need more coffee. It was special. So, to back up. So, it started off, you know, with the sweeping things of where the location is, where you are. We'll start off with the Colonel, but it kind of went into like something in Vegas. I think it was about 5 minutes into it. And he had 3 screens. He did that a few times, not too many times, where it's old Elvis footage and new Elvis footage. And it's him in the blue suit in Vegas. And boy, it hits you. I just started crying. I mean, it was so amazing. You know, and you know, he starts off at the feet moving up. I mean, he makes it very, what's the word for it? It's just epic. The way that he did his filming on this is epic. And the music, like I said, the music and the frames and the way they connected and the lighting, everything just kind of had like this whole vibration to it. It was very, very intense. There were scenes that were so like just wow. The sound, the build-up. You know, I went with my roommate. This was really loud in there. Yeah, it was loud. Like, what we've seen on our phone with clips, as opposed to what, you know, you would see if you go to the theater, it is nothing like going to the theater. The theater is going to give you a whole new experience on this. So, anyhow, people are moving around, so I'm going to go. But go see it. It's really, really awesome. And we need to keep Elvis's spirit alive. So I just wanted to add something. I'm holding my phone now since I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't do these YouTube things and I don't use a computer. I do everything on my phone. All my videos I make, I do on my phone. I've got horrible eye strain, but my cat's old and not well. So I spend time with him and I hang out outside. It's pretty outside. So, and I look terrible because I only slept 2 hours. So anyhow, what I wanted to add, I was playing with some art chemicals, so I got like the yellow fingernails, which is really lovely. Thank you very much. Anyhow, so now that that's out of the way, I just wanted to add the way that they did this movie was very interesting, because Tom Hanks did not overwhelm the movie in any way. It was very subtle. All the characters were very good. I mean, there was Priscilla, his mom, his dad. They weren't there that much. And Austin was very good in the scenes that he was in. Very, very good. But the way that they did the movie, none of the characters really took over the film. The way that they did the camera work. Like me, I'm on the camera now. You see me. It was more scenes and then little pieces in the scene, and then a scene and then little pieces in a scene, or little pieces of a performance and then something else. So it gave you the feel of Elvis, the energy of Elvis. That is what makes this movie really special for Elvis, because it really, I really felt like his essence and what he was about was represented and delivered to the public. What did he go through with, you know, all the stuff with the race thing, with sounding like a black guy, with his influence with blues, rhythm and blues, which he kills it. He's always been the bomb with rhythm and blues. You know, on what was going on in the world, where when he was stuck out in Hollywood, he was out of touch with everything that was going on. And then, you know, Kennedy and King and Bobby Kennedy, you know, those things were brought into it. But somehow, how they did it, like I said, it was more of like the era of Elvis and what Elvis was about, than it focused in so much on one solid thing. Like Austin was there, but not they're personally so much. Like, they would have scenes where he was sitting at the piano alone singing. Like I said, the music, we don't hear all of it on YouTube, the soundtrack. There was things in that movie that you're not going to see on YouTube. Very innovatively done. But the whole vibe of Elvis was really what the film was about. And they managed to just show that without anything, taking over. Even Austin's performance. In Austin, there were some scenes, like I said, he's a fabulous actor. His emotionality in these scenes was so genuine. You didn't know he was acting. Even though, he had makeup, you couldn't really tell. Like I said, the way that he did everything, you couldn't tell it was him. He didn't look like Elvis. Like I said, he doesn't look like Elvis in the face. But it was someone who carried Elvis's essence in the movie. And it was, like I said, he was so good. So very good. I don't think any other actor could have played him the way Elvis did. And the voice was really good. What else? There was something else I was going to say too. There was a lot to this movie. I don't want to give it away. And the ending was very good. Very good. Be ready for the ending. And just be ready for the ending. Be ready. Very powerful. If there's anything else, I'll add it. This is really a long video. Ugh. Okay, there was a couple more things. I really suck at this. But I want you guys to know about this, because we all love Elvis. I've always loved Elvis. I just never got on YouTube and posted all these videos about Elvis like I have lately. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you. There'll be more to come. Now I don't remember. I really didn't sleep. I need more coffee. Oh yeah. So my favorite, the '68 comeback, I've said for 20 years, because when I was a little girl, I carried around an Elvis pocketbook of pictures. This is like in the 70s. I've always loved Elvis. My father loved Elvis. I wish he was here for that. People used to say my father reminded them of Elvis. And he played the guitar, and he had a red guitar. He had like Elvis's year and make and model of guitar he got in like the 60s. Yeah, my dad and I loved Elvis. Anyhow, so the '68 comeback. Where I was going with this is, I've always said, if I could go back in time, any point in time in history, I would love to have been at the '68 comeback. Oh my God. So they did that. It was so interesting because they had there was a dispute between, I can't remember the guy's name, the guy Elvis worked with to get the whole thing up and going. And the Colonel, there was a dispute on that. So they went from like the camera room with that dispute to what was going on down on the floor with what the performance was going. So there was some interesting, switchbacks with those two scenes. And what they did, I'll give something away. They somehow incorporated the sit-down part with the musical part. Just wait for it, because I was like, how did they do that? Like I said, the editing, it was really neat. And the last thing I gotta say, because this really will be the last, because it's ridiculously long. And if you've all listened to this, thank you. And I'm sorry if I've articulated things incorrectly or used, like I think I said, I meant to say Elvis once and I said Austin. Like I said, I'm really tired. I should never do this being this tired. But Austin commanded his performance. I mean, he just commanded it like Elvis would command. I mean, the guy was Elvis in this role. He wasn't some actor. And that was what's so weird, because like I said, he doesn't look like Elvis, and he isn't Elvis. And in the end, when you see the pictures of Elvis, you see how beautiful Elvis was. But like I said, it just captured Elvis' spirit. So I'm really glad that they finally made this movie. This movie has long been overdue, and we all need to support it, because old Elvis, I really liked before 70. I can't have a hard time watching anything after 70. He was really having a hard time there. But the early stuff, God, what I wouldn't give to have that recolorized or redigitized. I look for color stuff and I try to do what I can with my phone, but wouldn't that be something to see? Because he really was amazing. So thank you, everyone. And if you go see the movie, enjoy it, and thank you for subscribing. Bye.